Welcome to Look Around Florida. I'm your host, Sean McFall, aka the Florida Man. We do have two special guests tonight. We got our division adjutant, Rick Roberts, and we have our division commander, Calvin Hart. They're in the background right now. We'll be bringing them up shortly. It's been fun the past couple of weeks. Different Christmas parties all over the South Florida. Uh, between the Arcadia camp, the Tampa OCR chapter put on a Christmas party there in Bartow. Mary and Donna McPherson hosted that. Both of them were excellent and a blast. Boy, were they fun. Uh, so I've been getting messages like crazy lately because we are live. I do need to mute my phone. So to keep me out of the doghouse, even though we have our division commander in the background, this keeps us out of trouble. Because most of you know me well enough, anything and everything can fly out of my mouth at a moment's notice. So, disclaimer. Here we got Keith from 1209. Woohoo! Hey Keith, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Jeff O'Kine in the house. Guys, we're gonna have a Christmas episode next week. But this is gonna be a lot of you been asking questions. We have our division leadership with us tonight. This way you guys can ask questions of what's going on with the Florida division. So please share this episode out, hype it up, whatever you got to do. We got Kim, division chaplain, in the house. So get some of these events that are coming up out of the way, then we're going to bring on our division leadership. As I find out what I did with them. Maybe, nope. There we go. Now, keep in mind the 28th annual SCVMC annual, June 19th to the 22nd, 2025. Get your registrations in, reserve your slot. I don't know about the motel if they're full yet or not, but get your registrations in. Make sure you have a t-shirt, all that stuff. Captain King and Ronnie Nichols, this stuff goes to them, so they put you down as registered. So get your stuff in. And the J.J. Dickerson Camp, 1387, is proud to announce their Lee Jackson dinner. Doors open at 4:45 p.m. Saturday, January 4th of next year. Celebrating begins at 5:15. Honor guests will be none other than SCV's own Ron Kennedy. If you love his books, you love him in person. Oh, I got to delete that. That's old news. All right, the 33rd annual Lee Jackson Dinner Southern Heritage event put on by the Finley's Brigade, 1614 Sons of Confederate Veterans, Marianne Black, Chapter Number 5. Order of the Confederate Rose, January 25th, 2025. Social hour will begin at 5 p.m., dinner and program at 6 p.m. So get your tickets in now. If you have any questions or anything, please get with Commander Mark Best. And when Calvin and Rick come on, they'll talk about this. The Florida Division event, Lee Jackson Dinner and Celebration, social hour, Sunday, January 26, 2025. Special guest is our Commander-in-Chief, Donnie Kennedy, Sons of Confederate Veterans. Maryland, Little Italy, 10365 Midtown Parkway, Jacksonville, Florida. Please get your registration in for this event. This is going to be up in Jacksonville. This is going to be with our Commander-in-Chief of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. Then we have the Colonel Samuel St. George Rogers Camp, 1865. In Ocala, Florida, is having their Lee Jackson dinner in celebration. Their special guest is Walter Donnie Kennedy. January 25th, dinner's at 7 p.m. Information and tickets can be reserved at leejacksondinner.com. And to help out our brothers and sisters up there in Panhandle, they are doing wreaths. So if you have any questions on that, please get with Kelly Crocker or Mark Bass. Let's see. We got Linda in the house. Hey, Linda and Roy. All right. Since we got all that stuff out of the way, we're going to hurt. And as soon as my internet quits going goofy. There we go. There's the man with the master plan. How y'all doing tonight?
All right.
Doing good.
So, hey, Victor. Anything new going on with the division lately?
Okay. Say one more time, Sean. Are you addressing
You guys
us?
are live. You're good to go.
Checking. I think the grant program is what we were going to update individually. Rick can give you the number of camps. I think 7 camps put in for it. Is that correct, Rick?
That's correct.
And the camps, all 7 passed the executive board. So
Yes.
Where the division will pay half of the money used for materials for recruiting or recruiting efforts. Yeah, we're pretty successful on recruiting. The division wanted to invest in the camps with this recruiting program. It gets larger every year, but next year I would hope that every camp would get their grant in early with something, if it's nothing but a recruitment banner for a table, and put it into effect and get out there in the public and recruit for Florida division. How you feel about that, Rick?
Yep, it would be great. I mean, this year, the camps that put in this year were Kirby Smith, the Patton Anderson camp, Wakulla Guards, Finley's Brigade, the Winston Stevens camp, and actually one was not a camp. Look Around Florida is one that put in, and the Colonel Samuel St. George Rogers camp. So really it was 6 camps that put in and Look Around Florida.
7. Look, Florida, which is what everybody knows, is the podcast we're on now, has been a great recruiting tool for the Florida division. So, again, and Sean for keeping it going. I know once you get a certain level, get everything going, great. Just keeping it great is an effort, keeping it going, keeping the excitement going about it. So I commend you, Sean, for continuing on the effort with this podcast and for the Florida division. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Like I said,
how's it going with your monument?
The monument's going well.
Sorry.
Let's the recruitment here just for a little bit so that we can expand on that. Some of the things that were voted on by the executive board was a recruitment pamphlet for camp. That was one idea. other ideas, the Kirby Smith camp, we're actually do recruitment at several events, including Lusty. And at that event, we had booklets printed, 100 booklets for, they're one-off printing, limited number. We'll number them and we'll sell them at the Old Lusty reenactment, any other recruitment efforts that we do. And it gets the public engaged, and it's kind of like a little opportunity to teach the public or educate the public on the efforts just in North Florida, as the book covers. Just, I think it's 17 pages altogether. So that's some of the ideas. Rick, did you want to expand on any other ideas the other camps are using?
There was a lot of banners. One of the camps, it was funding for gun shows, so that we were helping them pay for their entry fees to do recruiting at some gun shows. But mostly it was banners and other recruiting efforts, just supplies and stuff, which are great.
Yeah. In the past, some of the ideas that we've used that Chris Bunn, I think we had keychains made up with Kirby Smith on them and the website. And we went to county fairs and everybody wanted a keychain. So those keychains everywhere, got the, join now, and then it's got the website there. So it's just an opportunity to stay in front of them and kind of make somebody, easy access for them to get in touch with us.
We got the little miniature battle flags. We used it for those that we've given out. That the kids love. So
yeah. Still one of our most successful recruits. We carry packets that are made up and inquiries from other states asking us. We won the Nathan Bedford Forrest Recruitment Award for the most percentage of recruits for a camp, I think. And we had a lot of inquiries like, how do you do that? How do you make, and like I said, persistence is one thing. Take a swing.
Great.
Have, members run into somebody to show any interest. You ever heard of the Sons of Confederate Veterans? But we made these packets up. They're plastic bags. This was probably Chris Bunton's idea because he stuffed the bags. They got the camp pamphlet in there. They got the Confederate Veteran magazine. They got our newsletter in there. They got the keychain in there. Rick, that's got more than that. Oh, it's got the history of Florida, the magazines that the state puts out. It's a pretty nice packet that we give out. And we make them up every year. We probably make up 150 of them. These are things that we just don't, if you go to county fair for recruitment, we got the keychains and we got the
just the pamphlet.
Yeah,
just a pamphlet even.
Or just, we got little business cards, but we really don't give out that big package unless they show a lot of interest, because like I said, you get some money tied up into that. You just don't want to see them at the fairs and even at the gun shows, they carry it up in their hands and stuff. So you don't want to give them something that you walk, 100 feet away and it's in a trash can because they didn't want to carry it in their hand. But, like I said, the recruitment pamphlets are pretty good for us. The camp pamphlets are pretty good. I mean, if I park my truck, anytime I park my truck somewhere, and if I see a battle flag on a front of a truck or a car, I'll put the pamphlet underneath the window. Always recruiting because, that's the key is to always keep swinging, keep it going. And eventually, like anything else, you put enough effort into it, something will happen. Trust me.
Yeah.
John, you got anything you need to add to that, buddy? We covered that pretty well.
The one thing I do that's helping my camp grow, we use the dot card. It has a QR code on the back, So when you're talking to somebody, all you have to do is tap somebody's phone with it, and they got your information. I got them for all of my camp officers, and we have on it our camp email address that all the camp officers get. A link to our Facebook page and a link to the division page in that. So just another way of being able to communicate with today's technology.
Yeah, that is good. Actually, and every camp, I would hope, maintains an active website. We use our website, there's the website and there's the Kirby Smith Facebook, and then there's the Florida Division Facebook. Both the division side and, of course, Kirby Smith, that's our communication tool to our members right there to get, say, if we got a work day going or something, but we do have individuals that will text the members too to remind them of an event. But we try to keep stuff on Facebook camp wise. And we do, like I said, if somebody's interested in joining Kirby Smith, we let them access that site for a little bit and look around. I mean, we try to keep strictly members on that site like the Florida Division, but we have a website out there for the general public to look at, and you just have to keep that up. Make sure that somebody's, Googling SCV in your county, that your website will come up so you can get information to them. Like I said, and hopefully your websites are up to date, and that contact or any contact information on your website should be kept up to date, so that if anybody interested in you knocks on that door, that's the opportunity. But they'll just knock so long if nobody's going to not answer the door. So be mindful of just keeping your website information and your contact information.
Yep. Yeah, because I've been copying your guys' Chris Bunn's thing with the packets, and it's like you said, got to keep got to keep hitting until that ball flies over the.
In a roam run, let's take a swing. Now, the other thing with recruitment, people have fans today. So if you have someone that's interested in joining your camp or the Sons of Confederate Veterans, and they do not know their Confederate ancestor, but they are Southern, they believe that just make sure you have resources there and available that these people can get their ancestry information to them in a timely manner. Like I said, that when they show interest, you need to be onto that interest as quick as you can. And that'll help in your recruitment time. It has helped with us. I mean, we have we kept of it. We were doing pretty good, and we increased every year. But it's about the response and interacting with the individual potential member is the key. I don't know how many times as a Florida Division, it's happened a number of times that I'll get an email from an individual that has tried to either find the camp that was listed near them or contact someone in the camp that's not responding. I mean, you're going to lose that member. Now you have one so interested in it, he's calling around to try to find out how to join. Like I said, just respond to the for membership in a quick and timely manner. Guarantee it'll pay off.
Yep.
So,
I know we had some latecomers, but you guys did say earlier that there was a total of 6 camps that put in for the recruitment grant, and all 6 camps got approved, right?
Yeah. Right. With with your podcast, the one outside that was approved because it's a Florida Division recruitment tool. Your grant for the podcast.
Yes, sir.
Approved.
Yeah, we just had some latecomers come in, so
No problem.
yeah, you got to keep swinging for the fences. Eventually, you're going to get a hit.
That's right.
How's the statue coming?
All right, here's where we are with statue, and I just want to, it's the Florida Confederate Soldiers Monument, and it represents the entire Confederate effort of Florida during the war. Uh, it's coming around quite well. We put it together. It's together. The weekend before we had to, like I said, it was about 200,000 pounds of granite. The statue, him himself, he's roughly 10 feet tall, probably 1,500 pounds. Uh, it's all assembled. There's pictures of it on the division website. Uh, the weekend before, we had, we caulked all the joints where the stone came together. They didn't do it originally. Originally, it had like lead and it had some kind of like a mortar type mix in there. But we used, because again, technology, we used a caulk, silicone based caulk that was made from mortar, and we caulked all the joints mainly because when it rains, we didn't want the rain. The granite is like a porous material, and it would soak up the water. And when the sun came out, you'd see it kind of weeping, you know, getting getting the water back out of it. So we sealed it so that the rain would, go to the ground, and we just didn't want water penetrating within the monument. But it's going well. The plaques were installed. We did the caulk last weekend. Last Saturday, went out there and I installed a light and a twilight switch so that at night a John LED comes on and lights the statue up. He's roughly 35 plus feet up in the air. It lights him up in the area. So coming along well. We got some electrical work to do. We got to go back up with the scaffolding, and we're going to do one final cleaning from the top to the bottom. And then it'll be complete. We have to move a fence on the other side of the monument so that area is enclosed in Kirby Smith Confederate Park. And we got a historic uh, plaque signage that's going for those who've been there, as you're walking toward the arc, it'll be right to the left. So you'll be able to read it and look up at the monument. This is the proof. I got it yesterday. This is roughly 66% the size it's going to be. It's going to be like on a table with two legs. It's kind of a metal stand that it goes into. This is a proof copy of what he displayed. I can read to you. Florida Confederate Soldiers Monument. This is somewhat long, so just hang with me just a little bit. To the United Veterans of Ocala, Hemet Memorial in honor of Confederate soldiers. Charles, a Texas bank executive, raised in Jacksonville and at age 17, joined the Confederate Light Infantry as a private on January 10th, 1861. Now, he joined the Jacksonville Light Infantry, and there'd always been a rumor that on his kepi, on the statue, because the 10-foot statue is actually him. It's a one-off statue. It's actually him as a young man in the Confederate Army. Rumor that there was like JLT on the kepi, letters on the kepi. And I never could see it. It was 65 feet up in the air when I was trying to look at it, and never could get that angle. But sure enough, on the kepi, JLT, the letters for Jacksonville Light Infantry. And I'll continue marker. After fighting many land battles, he was captured by Union forces at the Battle of Missionary Ridge. He was sent to an Illinois prison in December 1863, but later escaped to Canada and became a Confederate spy. As a secret Confederate emissary, he made his way to Canada the West Indies, Florida, and Virginia, during which time he was captured on 3 different occasions. He rejoined the regiment in North Carolina, where he was promoted for meritorious service. Members of the local Robert E. Lee camp of the UCV invited Charles to a reception in Jacksonville, hoping to have him place the Confederate soldiers' memorial in the city. After viewing several possible locations, and that he went and visited several locations in Florida before he went to Jacksonville. He went to Ocala. Ocala wanted the monument. After viewing several possible locations, Hemming preferred the center of St. James Park in Jacksonville. Although it involved removing a popular fountain, the city's Board of Public Works gave it approval. The unveiling ceremony took place on June 6, 1898. Later in 1899, the city council changed the name of St. John's Park to Hemming Park. The monument rose 62 feet from the square foundation and extended from the base, topped by a bronze figure of a Confederate soldier in a winter uniform. He stood at ease with his hands clasping the barrel of his rifle that rested on the ground. On his cap were the initials JLI, representing the Jacksonville Light Infantry. On 3 sides of the base were the bust of Confederate General Kirby Smith, General Robert E. Lee, and Stonewall Jackson with their hardcore troops, and J.J. Dickinson, commander of the UCV Florida's division. On the remaining side of the square was a plaque containing a tribute to the soldiers of Florida written by Charles Hemming. J.J. Dickinson, I know there's a lot of fans of J.J. Dickinson out there. His great-great-granddaughter came to Jacksonville when we put down J.J. Dickinson's wife's memorial stone next to his headstone. And in her stuff brought that belonged to J.J., there was a button in there that said Confederate Monument, Jacksonville, Florida, and showed this. So with his bust on there, he was probably 98. He was probably the only, I'm sure, he was the only living individual that was on the plaques in 1898 that was there at the ceremony. I believe Smith was alive, and if I'm not mistaken, Robert E. Lee was still alive. Of course, they weren't in the audience, but J.J. Dickinson. So, rest of the plaque will read, in 1901, the Great Fire destroyed almost all of Jacksonville's core, leaving the Confederate Soldiers Memorial as the lone standing structure. Witnesses reported the base of the monument glowed red from the heat of the fire. Walls of buildings were falling, church spirals glared in fiery terror as stained glass windows popped and cracked in the heat. A tall monument to the soldiers of the Confederacy stood gaunt and alone among the ashes and debris. The soldier at the top retaining his dignity, still clasping his musket. The trees in which it stood was a mass of shriveled, curled, ruined shrubs and trees. In fact, that was really standing down. Everything was burnt to the ground. There's a picture of it that's going to be on this placard. The rest of it reads, after a heroic effort by the Sons of Confederate veterans to keep the statue in place, five Jacksonville mayor and woke culture city politicians removed the statue in the middle of the night. On June 10th, 2020, after 122 years in the center of the park, shameless work crews removed the entire statue and stored it until 2023 when it was returned to the Hemming family. The monument was deeded to the Kirby Smith Camp 1209, which immediately began the Soldiers Monument. The Florida division of the Sons of Confederate Veterans joined in the effort because our Confederate dead cannot cry out for justice themselves. Therefore, it is our duty to do so for them. In 2025, the Florida Soldiers Confederate Memorial was dedicated at Kirby Smith Confederate Park, whereas the original location of the memorial was in downtown Jacksonville, where few appreciated it. It is now in a place of honor located within the viewing distance of thousands of motorists traveling Interstate I-295 daily. That's how it reads, and this is what it'll look like. Except it'll be larger. Anyway,
Is that gonna be? Is that gonna be like a bronze plaque, or is that gonna be like on a?
it's going to be like one of the marks did at a at a national park, tilted, that you look at, and it's like telling you what you're looking at. Same company that makes them is making this for us. The plaque, I think, is roughly probably at like a 30-something degree angle with legs that are in concrete. So basically you got a table, and the tabletop will be that that graphic I just showed you, except it'll be 40% larger because that's a 60% proof right there. So
Oh, cool.
yeah. It says in 2025, which we should, like I said, we're not going to dedicate it till it's completely finished, but we'll be finished. It certainly be finished by this time next year. We're hoping a couple of months into it that we'll complete the move the fence and have the whole division. Of course, it's a division effort that's open, that write up to put in a book that will turn in. The Florida division will turn in at the national reunion for historic project of the year. So we're hoping to win that with this project.
Cool.
Florida.
Well, I did find this picture to give everybody an idea.
Yeah, that's the picture.
What-
That was the day I think we actually put the soldier on the monument.
That's it.
Yep. Kind of give everybody a perspective of what the efforts that you guys have been putting in.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually in a great location. I mean, it's split. You got Robert E. Lee there. He's to the left there. That statue is, I think that's roughly 7 foot tall, Robert E. Lee. And of course, the pole to the right, that's the flag. I think 50 feet. That we go every month, change it out to a different Confederate flag. I mean, we'll start out Bonnie Blue, first national, second national, third national, battle flag, and then we'll start over again. The only time that we would take the Confederate flag down, I think we actually Veterans Day, I think we put the American flag up, and then if a police officer within Duval County or near us dies in the line of duty, we immediately take the flag down, put
Police memorial flag.
memorial. And tonight we actually fly police memorial flag every day at the top, small 3x5. Good there, Sean?
Ready. Kim just texted me. Let me get this uploaded. Okay, thanks, Kim. Let me get this uploaded of the Cappy.
So, I think there, Sean. Lots of pictures. He's good photography and doc. That's just if you're doing projects, have somebody like him taking pictures that you question proof you can go look at, because I've looked at old pictures of the statue just working with it.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to get these pictures that Kim sent me. Okay.
The dedication
Yeah, Kim,
you want to go on to something else here, Sean? Why are you looking for that?
whatever you guys want to talk about, feel free. Well, I just have to upload it.
All right, I'll talk project. We also got another project going on at the same time. We own a cemetery called Camp Mooney Cemetery, and we're just on the columbarium. We have a columbarium that's being built at Camp Mooney Confederate Cemetery. It'll be for putting individual ashes in a memorial in a cemetery, and this will be, vision. You're certainly welcome to inquire when we get finished if you would like your ashes interned at a Confederate graveyard, because it faces the Confederate soldiers that are buried there, and there's several that were killed during the Cedar River skirmish. So that project's coming along.
I'm back. Thank you, Kim, for sending the.
Yeah, kind of a strange picture. That looks somewhat alien there, but right there on top of the bill, if you look, his initials, Jacksonville Light Infantry.
Oh, yeah. Now I see what you're talking about. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I think he was on the truck. That's the soldier on the trailer before we lifted him with the crane. I think we actually moved him twice. We moved him to the other side to check the fit on the base, and then we lifted the base and then set him up. That's a couple of projects.
That's cool.
Any other projects?
Do you want?
I know everybody's working on their Lee Jackson. There's several in the state that's going on. I encourage you, if you don't have something to commemorate Robert E. Lee, Stonewall Jackson's find an event. I don't care if it's just with your camp hanging out somewhere nice, fellowship, just remembering the heroes we have for the South. Our Lee Jackson will be held in Mangiano's. We'll have the commander in chief Kennedy there, which anybody is welcome to come. It's good nights, good food. I think he's making his rounds through Florida. It looks like. I think he's at. Didn't you say you'll be at Ocala on the 25th?
Yeah, the day before yours, sir.
Yeah, and then he comes to Jacksonville on Sunday, 26th. Our dinner's at 5:00, so hopefully he'll come in enough time that we can show him around. We've had commanders and chiefs that at speak. It's always good because their leadership, who membership to carry our organization into the future. So it's always good to kind of listen to see what they got to say, see what their future plans.
Yep. Yeah, both Kennedys are hitting Florida.
Yeah. Well, why wouldn't you? Got a nice state for a year,
Exactly. January. It's going to be cold in Louisiana and Tennessee, so why not come to Florida?
Not only the Lee Jackson events, but the division and 1209 sent money to Kelly for the Confederate Reefs Cemetery, Confederate Christmas wreaths. If your camp can support that project, I think it was like $20 for one wreath. The division bought he bought maybe or 5. Yeah, 5, I think. And then Kirby Smith bought 5. So I mean, it's just $20 for a wreath for that effort. And I think that's a pretty good effort. I'm not familiar with that cemetery. Sure, if you have any questions, gave Mark a call, Mark Best, he answered the phone, or Kelly. Either one of them could give you more information. I know they had a pretty detailed flyer, and that's what I used. And that's a worthwhile. So
Yep. Everybody's kind of busy that right now with their Christmas parties, planning their Lee Jacksons.
yeah, and then we swing in first of the year.
Rick,
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask Rick if he had anything.
No, just
He's got Rick can talk about it. Rick, I know everybody knows Rick's our adjutant, and like I said, I appreciate having a good adjutant. Whether you're a division commander or a camp commander, you know your adjutant is a strong backbone of camp. You know, kind of punch. You need a good adjutant. Kind of an unsung job. I did it before myself, and I suggest every camp commander give it a try so you'll appreciate what they do for you. So, you know, they don't get the credit they deserve, but an adjutant that works well and gets stuff done, you know, you don't really notice it. But if it goes wrong, you notice it. So you might not know if you got a good one. You think stuff happens by magic, but if you have a bad one, you'll know exactly what you need. That's a tough job, an adjutant.
Yep.
How about you, John? Have you ever been an adjutant?
I just got upgraded for one.
You now are one?
I was Camp 2150's adjutant. I just got upgraded by the camp to camp commander.
the commander. He just became camp commander.
Oh, well,
From
congratulations.
adjutant.
Did they raise, buddy? Did they give you a raise or just title change?
Title change.
Oh,
No money.
no money?
No money.
Damn it, man. You know, no benefits. You
Well,
got any
that's
benefits? You know,
What was that?
well, maybe they'll get some vacation time in there for you. Hey, I got a thing, Sean.
That's why we love this organization, you know.
Yeah, they're guys. I mean, we got, man, when you get them, you need to be thankful for them, pat them on the back, let them know you appreciate them when you find that individuals that are willing to put out the sweat for your camp or your division or your organization. Those guys, don't ever take any of them for granted. We need them. But as far as your podcast,
All
Sean,
right. Well, we got our what was that? You're breaking up, sir.
I was saying, you know what? I don't see why every camp in the division don't come on this podcast once. If it's nothing but to explain where the name of their camp.
I invite them all. They're all invited.
Maybe.
I just put a message on the members only division page on for the camp commanders, adjutants to email me if they have any camp projects or news going on with their camps. Feel free to send them in. I'm not shy. Or if you want to come on and talk about it, that's fine too.
Even if
anybody in the division's more welcome to.
Even if you just come on and explain where the name of your camp comes from and who that individual was, who that individual was important enough for you to name your camp off of.
And I don't know if my internet's buggy or Calvin's buggy.
You hear me, Rick?
I can hear you.
I guess you're buggy. You know? I'm just encouraging all camps to take a swing at coming on your podcast. Maybe that.
Now I'm getting no sound.
I can hear him.
Every year, you know,
I can
There we
hear
go.
every year, you know, we, kind of streamline the grant program a little bit
Everything
more.
went back to default settings. No wonder I couldn't hear anybody.
Keep going, Calvin. I can hear you.
Okay, bud. Maybe every year program next year, one of the requisite for putting in for the grant is to do a look around Florida podcast about your camp. I think that's a good idea. I think it's worth taking, 15 minutes, 20 minutes out of your evening and talk about your camp. I would sit there and listen to you tell you why your camp's named whatever name it's named after. I go to National, I see people with names on their camp. I would love to know why they named their camp Buggy Eyed JoJo Corn Breath or whatever. Just I already know the Robert E. Lee camps, who they name. I know all about that. So those guys don't really have to tell me at National who they name it, but you get those off the wall ones. I'm all you got me. Who is that? What they do?
Yep.
What happened to John? He fell out there, Rick?
It looked like he's trying to figure out why his sound is gone.
I seen Greg Allman one time do that, just fall off the piano, just like that. He didn't come back. But down, he was there, and he didn't know Greg Allman fell down, and he looked over there and seen him on the ground, and there were some people trying to help him up, but it wasn't going to happen. And Dickie Betts just looked at the crowd and said, "Well, we lost one, but we're going to keep it going." That's what he said. And they
yeah, see, Jason's the same. Jason says he wants to hear all that stuff too, so it makes each camp unique and personal. Yeah.
That's exactly right. I got to put in a disclaimer about the Greg Allman thing, though. He did.
Oh, now Sean done cut you off.
Did he?
Now you're back.
But they said in the newspaper the next day that Greg Allman had allergic cough medicine. That's what they said. It didn't look like that to me. He didn't even fall like he had a cold. You know what I mean? He kind of felt like he was passing out. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, yeah, back to the podcast there. Yeah, I think every camp should come on, Sean.
He says he can't hear. Yeah, he says he has no sound. Keep going because everybody else can hear.
Are they? Okay.
You're running the show, Calvin. Go ahead.
I guess this is the new edition of the podcast, Rick. Week. Stars on next week, Yeah. Yeah. For all the camps out there, I'm getting towards the end here. Just want to wish all of them a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I know it's a family time. I hope everybody spends time with their family and remembers the reason that we do have Christmas. So with that being said, Sean, are you good?
I think he'll be back. He disappeared.
We are in charge now, aren't we?
Oh, yeah. He's up. Here he comes. He's back.
And I have sound.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
You guys could have busted my chops. I would never know.
No, we were good. Calvin was carrying on. He was doing good.
We kind of did.
That's all right. I was going to say, welcome, past Commander-in-Chief Jason Boshears is in the chat.
Yeah.
Here. Jason's a good man. I wish we had a term where he could have ran longer. I'd like to see him run until he absolutely couldn't run no more. Is what I'd like to send Jason do. I like that, Commander. There's been a few of them.
I agree with you.
Yep. One of them. He's always welcome to come visit Jason. He's good. So, Don, you going to the national?
Every now and then, I'm still up in the air. I just was on Southwest Airlines looking at airfare just the other night. So it's definitely a possibility of me finding me somewhere in Houston.
Yeah. We ain't exactly. I'll be honest. So we can be truthful here, just fellas chit chatting. We went to I guess it was the Dallas reunion, and it was all right. It wasn't one of my favorites. I put it that way. The traffic was so bad there, you couldn't really get out of the hotel. Did go to an outstanding museum while we were there, but other than that, and what was so funny about that, Sean? We took a good group of guys, right? We had a significant number, and we were going to Texas, so everybody wore cowboy hats, right? With the impression, we get there, we'll mingle and fit in. We got off the plane wearing cowboy hats. Nobody else had cowboy hats on. It's the damnedest thing. Everybody looked at us like tourist kind of people wearing cowboy hats.
They all wear ball caps.
I'm just saying, like gunfolk when I got off the friggin' plane.
Well, yeah.
It was like Starbucks and
it's like where
yuppie people.
Yeah, it's like where I live. You don't really see the western side of things until you go towards Okeechobee, where you have a lot of your cattlemen and farmers.
Yeah. Well,
then you see them. Yeah.
I'm deep enough the cowboy hats when I start seeing the shirts with the snap pearl buttons on them. I know I'm in the land of wearing cowboy hats when I see that. But
what are you thinking of? What's his name? The Rhinestone Cowboy?
No, not that. They're real cowboys. The pearl snap button Western shirt, work shirt. I worked in Texas. I've seen the cowboys and the look like cowboys, and Florida has cowboys too.
Yeah, we do.
Yep. We actually had battles fought over cattle throughout the state of Florida.
Yeah, that's or either. had to do a lot of fighting to keep the people stealing, Indians getting them. Yeah, there was a lot of fighting over cattle.
There you go, Calvin. See what Kim says about you? You need a buckle.
What
he says you need a buckle the size of a hubcap.
Right. Yeah. That's true. With like a bucking horse on it. I've seen them before. That's true.
Hey, Kim, we probably could make that happen in Houston.
Jason says he's got some of those pearl snap button cowboy.
Yeah, I've got a white shirt with snap buttons.
I got one.
That's style, man.
Cool. Yeah.
That. Look at this,
Jeffro. You wear the rhinestones.
I bet you fashion advice podcast, did you, buddy?
Well, this show needs to go off the rails every now and then, anyhow.
And here we go.
Get us back to the center line. That's right. Hope Houston's fun. I don't know. It could be. I get to these big. I tell you, since we're just talking, just the three of us. I've been to a lot of national reunions. A lot. Me and Chris and a few other people, that were in the beginning, and me and Chris the most. But my least favorite one out of all was Richmond, Virginia. It would be hard pressed. That was I didn't like the town, and the reunion wasn't the most comfortable one I ever been in. I'm just saying. I've been to them all. They're all been good, and it's always good to see SCV members across the.
What Jason just put. I have a belt buckle for you, Calvin, about the size of a 1960 Cadillac hubcap.
Yeah, big, good. If he's got a student, I'm all about it. You know. But yeah, I encourage everybody to go to National Reunion. I know Houston's kind of far away, and that's kind of a stretch for us. But the reunions are certainly worthwhile. Like I said, I've been to Arkansas twice for reunions. First time it was really good. Second time it was good. Like I said, it's always good to go out there and meet other SCV members from around the country and ask them what works for them. What are they doing that's good? I'm by far someone who would steal an idea like that. If it worked for them, I'm willing to try it and see if it'll work for us, especially if they had some kind of results from it. It's always good.
Yeah. I mean, I learned it. Yeah, I've learned a lot from Arkansas and from Charleston.
Yeah, pretty good size, big camp. I mean, Charleston reunion, I think that's the second time I've been there for Charleston reunion. The first time was really good. The last time, it is okay. It's okay. I mean, it was good. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for one in maybe Hawaii, or that would be nice.
Germany.
Yeah, Germany. That would be a good one. Belize probably would be a good one.
We need Brazil.
Brazil. Yeah, go to
They got Confederates.
Yeah, but do they have an active camp that's willing to put one on?
No, that's the question.
Well, damn it, we'll have a reunion there and we'll start one. How about that? Well, many blockade runners out of Bermuda. I think that would be a good place to have a reunion.
Yeah.
Somewhere. History's there. I'm just saying.
Cuba.
Cuba, Castro's gone, so maybe we can negotiate with them. They might like us now. Let us come.
There you go, Jason.
Yeah.
Scotland. There'd be a good one.
Yeah, there would be a good one. There was a SCV camp, because I've got this information there. Believe it or not, there was an SCV camp in New York City, and they, during I believe it was the 1917 reunion, was held in Washington, D.C. I believe I got that year right. And of course, at that time, with the UCV and the SCV held their reunions at the same time. So Washington, D.C. was the place for a reunion, possibility. Trump's there. Maybe things have changed. I don't know. Give it time.
Yeah.
Find out that much.
I tell you this, my most memorable one, and it was my first national reunion. It was back in 2000 in Charleston, where I met a distant cousin of mine. We tied our family trees together. He was an SCV member and an MOSB member. And we got the chance to talk and tie our family trees in together. So that's the most one the most one I'm going to remember at all of them.
No, we like I said, we've had a good time. All the reunions I never went.
Yeah.
That I went. I'll put it that way. I always had a good time, but I always surrounded by people that that I'm going to have a good time. If we were just sitting in a burning building together, we would have a good time. I mean, there's good people, and I'm surrounded by good people, so we'll have a good time. Mostly I like to go eat at different places that are good.
Yeah.
So if it's a place
And
where
then
they
the next,
get out,
yeah,
that's a little bit, because I do like to get around and go to these places, take an opportunity and go eat somewhere there that's they're local, a local restaurant that's pretty good.
Yeah.
and then the next one's in Lexington.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that guy. He called asking for information, I told him to run. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it is. I thought Kentucky was the next one, or is that in 2 years?
The Texas
Where?
X, then after that,
Kentucky.
yeah, that's after Houston, right, Rick?
After Houston is Lexington, Kentucky.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to be somewhere different and see what's going on.
Oh yeah.
About it. We'll just see how it plays out.
Thanks, Victor. That's right. Houston, Lexington, then Mobile.
Friggin' I get sick of just, you can put it down, check this box. Calvin's sick of going to Mobile. Man, wow. Guys, not today, ain't he? Well, yeah. Well, if you go there enough, and the one time me and Chris went there, they buried, it was one sailors, who it was,
One of
but
the guys off the Alabama.
yeah, it was, hopefully he was a Confederate. That's just not some guy that just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Found him kind of like stuck to the bottom of a cannon, and they scraped him off. And I'm probably doing a short Reader's Digest version of this thing. And they sent him to Mobile to be buried, and that's what we were going to do. That's what we were supposed to do, is march in that parade, that procession leading to the cemetery. And I'm sure when they did all this planning with their pencils and paper, that they had no idea that in July it was going to be 100 something degrees while you're marching down through. As we were marching there, which was entirely too long a distance from the hotel to the cemetery, people just started either kind of falling out or dropping to the side, because I had the honor of leading the Florida division that time. And I ended it with a lot less people than I started with. And then on the way back, wasn't going to walk. We flagged down a picture to have mercy on us and please take us back to the hotel. They took us to the hotel. So Mobile. Whatever. All right, I've seen that monkey dance already. I like to see something different. I don't know why the
Yeah.
American something going. That'd be kind of, you got camp in California
Well,
on the right. Going whatever. I'm just saying.
I
I
would see a national reunion in Alaska.
Yeah, why not? I mean, like I said, doing the same thing. I mean, like I said, one time, two times, 3 or 4 times. Yeah, I've already, like I said, I've seen everything I'm going to see in Mobile at least once. So I'm just saying, I'll be glad when there's some new opportunities for going somewhere at a national reunion. So, well, buddy, I'm looking at 9:07 and we're over our time limit.
Well, if you want to keep going on, keep going. But theoretically, yeah.
I've seen enough for this evening. Like I said, anybody out there that wants to come on your show, and if they have some kind of interest, if they're a collector, if they have antique guns, come in and tell a story about your antique gun, a Confederate gun or such. I'd be more than happy.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, don't cut any topic short, because at one early camp meeting, I don't think I wasn't even an officer. They said, next week or next month, we're going to have such and such. I don't remember the individual's compatriot's name, that he was going to talk about the Confederate postal system, right? So I
Ooh.
was like, oh, the postal system, this is going to be dry. This is going to be boring. I'm not a real stamp collector. I respect stamp collectors. They're one of the nicest collectors there are out there. I met a bunch of them, so I know, and they're real helpful, stamp collectors. But that being said, that stamp collecting ain't my deal. And I thought that is going to be one difficult presentation for me to sit and listen to. But lo and behold, the way he presented, and he had such a passion for it, it was one of the best presentations at a camp meeting that I've seen. I learned a lot. And at the very end, I learned, out of all the postal systems America's ever had, the only profitable postal system ever existed within America is the Confederate. They didn't lose money. So go figure that out. Just saying. But it was a good,
Yep.
it was a good meeting, was a good topic. So like I said, if you have a passion about something, I'm sure this is a good avenue for you to get on there and share it with people who would more than enjoy your presentation. I know I would. There you go,
Oh
Sean.
yeah, yeah. Because we've Kim Colors has come on, and he has a passion for uh, him and Jim Odell both have passion for the Navy.
Yeah, and one of the most people don't bring up the Navy enough. If you study the Confederate Navy, you'll have a deep appreciation and respect for them, because what they started with and what they had and what they did, to even raise the Navy is pretty spectacular. I know it
Oh
appears that
yeah.
burned more Confederate ships than the Union, but uh, generally speaking, some of those uh, ships they had in the brown water and the blue were outstanding ships with outstanding sailors on them, and the leadership. I mean, Sims, man. Read about Sims. He's a very interesting character, and he on the high seas he would be something to deal with. So,
Yep.
great. I would more. So there you go. More advertisement for recruiting for your podcast.
I'm always looking for help.
Yeah, ain't we all, brother? From above
Yep.
or all right. Well, is that about it?
Ready.
Huh?
Sounds good.
Let's check. Yeah, it sounds great. Well, we have Rick and Calvin here. Does anybody have any questions before we wrap tonight's show up?
I just
Feel
wish
free to
that
ask or forever hold your peace.
I just was hoping that Rick would have let me talk more. He just wouldn't let me get a word in.
That's me.
Yeah. I guarantee if I said something wrong, though, it would have been a cough or something. We signals keep us in between the ditches.
You know me.
Well, that's why I put out a disclaimer so all three of us can stay out of the doghouse.
If I said something to offend somebody, I really didn't mean to. I probably meant it, but I didn't mean for it to be offensive. And if you had a reunion I didn't have a good time at, I'm just saying the truth. That's all. That's all.
Yeah, get over it.
They'll get over it.
Yep, they will eventually.
A bit.
Alrighty, nobody's asking questions, and yep, we're done. We started. we started the show off with 20 people. We're down to 6 right now.
I thought
Wow.
we'd be like, just you, me, Rick. I thought that's how we're good. All right.
Yeah.
Let's call it, Blake.
All right,
Rick.
sir. You have a good night, and thank you and Rick for coming on tonight. I
All right.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
So let's end the show with one of our very own. As soon as I find it, one of our own division members.
My name is Nelson W. Winbush. I'm a member of the Jacob Sumner Camp 1516 Sons of Confederate Veterans. My reason for joining the Sons of Confederate Veterans after the NAACP declared they would destroy and remove everything Confederate in 1990, I decided that I would do all I could to make sure that people understood what the Confederacy stood for.
Have a good night. God bless you. Stay out of trouble.